and welcome to episode 19 of the Milk Thistle podcast. My name is Kate and this is the world's most sporadic knitting podcast. Although, as my mum pointed out to me this morning, it's not only irregular in like the time frame that I record these videos, but also where I record them. So I am currently in a lovely town called Daylesford, which is in Victoria in Australia. I'm on holiday and I thought, seeing as I'm road tripping around a really beautiful part of the country, I might take you with me and record like little snippets in the different places that I'm gonna be. It may turn out to be a disaster. Currently I'm sitting in a park talking to my camera, so hopefully not too many people walk past and think I've lost my marbles. But yeah, this is a channel where I talk about knitting. You can find me on Instagram as Milk Thistle Fiber Arts, and we have a Ravelry group, which is the Milk Thistle Podcast Ravelry group. All the links to the things that I talk about will be in the description box below. And yeah, so feel free to contact me if you have any questions, but we'll see how this goes. So it's not going to be a traditional, this is what I finished, this is what I'm working on. I'm going to give you a little glimpse at things that I'm working on in various locations as I go around my trip. I was sitting, there's some beautiful ducks and a lot of geese. There's a lake just behind me, and I was sitting surrounded by all the birds and it was really pretty. There are lots of goslings because it's spring here in Australia, but I'm not sure if you've spent a lot of time around geese, but they're really loud, so you couldn't really hear me. Now I've got a frog, so we'll see how this goes. It's not going to be conventional, but I have 3 projects to talk to you about right now, and then a little bit later in the video I will pop in from a different location and talk to you about different things. So we'll see how this goes. I should probably tell you what I'm wearing. So this is my Tenure sweater, which is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knits, and I've just finished it. I knit it out of Primrose Yarn Company. I think I've got this is what I've got left. The color is called Fashionably Late, and it is this cream with all these multicolored, I don't know if it's showing up too well there, speckles. And it's on the Sophia base, so it's a 3-ply fingering weight, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And this is the Primrose Yarn Company ball band. But I was determined to have this finished for my holiday, and I didn't, but I finished it on the car ride. Yesterday I think I finished it. So it is beautiful. Let's see if I can do this without being too ungainly. So it has this gorgeous lace at the bottom, and I think the speckles show up really beautifully. You see all the different colors? Is that gonna focus? So it's really, really pretty. I had 2 skeins of this wool, and I don't know if you can tell, but it is darker at the bottom and then lighter in terms of how many speckles there are at the top. Now, I did this kind of on purpose. I didn't want to alternate skeins when I was doing the lace work. I just felt like that'd be really messy. And one of the skeins of yarn that I had, although they were the same color, I assume dyed at the same time type situation, one was a lot more heavily speckled than the other. So I used that color first, so there's more speckles at the bottom. Then I alternated skeins in the middle, and then towards the top I just used the lighter color. So I kind of faded them, for want of a better word, into each other, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm happy with how the speckles are quite evenly distributed, and I like that it's not a really stark contrast bottom to top. I mean, it's still the same color, but it is definitely more heavily speckled at the bottom. Now, I did make a slight adjustment to this pattern. I made two. One, I didn't knit the sleeves because I really liked the way it looked without sleeves. It's coming into summer here, and I mean, this is all the wool I've got left over. I only had 2 skeins, and I can add sleeves at a later date if I decide, but currently I like the look of it as is. The other change that I made was I left more stitches. So basically you knit it bottom up in the round, then you knit the front and the back separately, and then you connect them and then put a neckband on. And I left more stitches than the pattern called for going across the top of the shoulder, and I decreased less stitches but more steeply on the neck, because this is designed to have quite a boat-ish neckline. Now I'm wearing a t-shirt underneath this, or a singlet underneath this today, that is like a raceback style, so it does come up quite high. But if I was just to wear a traditional singlet underneath, you wouldn't be able to see the straps, which I found that with the neckline that the pattern has in it, in a lot of the pictures I saw, you could see people's straps for the things that they wore underneath it, which is fine. I just know that I always wear a bra at least, so those straps are ever present, and I didn't want them to be super visible. Yeah, so I'm really happy with it. This is the first time I've worn it, and it's really cute. It is cropped, so I don't know if you could see before. So this is quite an awkward way of showing you, but that's all right. You get the idea. So it is cropped, and I haven't washed it yet. I have steam blocked it, but not wet blocked it, just because at the moment the way I'm on a 10-day road trip, and our time frame at the moment is we're moving every day. Basically, we're sleeping in a different place every night until tomorrow, when we will stay in one place for 4 days. So I'll have enough time to wash and actually have it dry. But I just steamed it with an iron, and the lace actually flattened out quite a bit. So I expect when I wet block it, it will get a little bit longer. It is superwash wool, so it will stretch out, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it being a little bit longer. I'm not a huge fan of the super cropped silhouette, but I do think this is really sweet. So that is my Tenure sweater by Caitlin Hunter of Boylan Knits. What else am I working on? Oh, you know, you cast off one jumper, you gotta cast another one on, right? So this morning I cast on, just trying to get the front page of the pattern without giving away all the secrets. So this is Chuck by Andy Satterland. I have knit this pattern before in black, and long story short, it went through the washing machine and it felted and shrunk a little bit. So I'm gonna make another one. This time I'm knitting it in gray, and I'm using this gorgeous 100% American Cormo from Stonewool, and the color is Shale, which is color 01, and it's worsted weight, so there's 200 yards or 182 meters per 100 grams. I got 2 of these skeins from my beautiful fiber share partner in the last round of fiber share, and I actually managed to track down 2 more skeins of it in Australia in the same dye lot, and so it was meant to be. I'm super excited to make a chuck out of this. So like I said, I just started this morning. I actually started twice, because last time I knit this, I knit it on a 4.5 millimeter needle, which is a US 7, I think. and I liked the gauge I got, but I didn't swatch because, you know, I'm a rebel. And I just cast it on with the 4.5 millimeters again, and I don't know if my tension's changed or it's just that I'm using a different wool, but I wasn't really happy with the way the gauge was coming out, so I pulled it undone and I started again on 4 millimeter needles. So this is the back. It looks really wide actually, but fingers crossed it'll be okay. I'm knitting the size medium, and yeah, just started. So it's got beautiful stitch definition though. And yeah, brand new cast on, but this will be lovely. It's got this beautiful cable pattern down the front. I just noticed that I really haven't picked super basic like traditional car knitting projects. I've got a cable jumper which has 2 separate cable patterns or 2 separate cable charts in it, which you read simultaneously, but I mean, it wasn't hard last time. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So that's in my caramel colored Fringe field bag, Fringe Supply Co field bag. And I got some new pins. I got Make, Wear, Mend, which is super cute. I Feel Like Knit and Fueled by Tea. So I've got those 3 on here. I like to color coordinate my enamel pins with my bags. So I have a little bird on this one because I thought the blue went nicely. These ones I've gone for the cream and gold. I have a black porter bin and it's got all black and white and gold pins on it. Anyway, that's just me. I also swap them out regularly, but these bags are amazing, especially when you're traveling, because they've got just the right amount of pockets that, you know, you can store everything without. I did bring a lot of my stuff with me, but you know, when you're at home and you can just run off and grab extra notions that you've left in another room, I find that organizationally speaking, these bags are great for larger projects when you're traveling, because you can be really organized, and when you're packing your stuff up, make sure that you have everything you need in each of the bags. But anyway, I'm sure you all know that these bags are, I mean, they're popular for a reason. They're well thought out, they're well constructed, they're sturdy, they're great. So, last project that I'm going to show you while I'm sitting here today. I just started these yesterday in the car, and I have a cuff. They are the Evja Mittens by Skein Knits. I think Ellie is the name of the designer. She has a podcast as well, which is Skein Knits. And this is the first mitten in her pattern club. So there will be 4 patterns released. This was September's mitten, then there's one in October, November and December, so I'll get 4 patterns. Oh my goodness, this is the most professional way to podcast, talking to your camera in a park. Lean forward. Oh well, if you are a new viewer, this isn't the most conventional podcast, but if you're a returning viewer, hopefully you're used to it by now. This is my mitten, or my cuff. So I've just done 1 row of the chart for the actual mitten bit of the mitten. I am using 2 DK weight non-superwash wools. This one is a gorgeous toffee mustard color. So pretty. and this is Brooklyn Tweed Arbor, which is 100% American Tardnie wool. Sorry, I smush my ball bands up and stick them in the middle of the cakes when I wind them up. So that is the ball band. The color is Klimt. Klimt, yeah, that's how you pronounce it, Klimt. So 145 yards for 50 grams, and it's gorgeous. This is plain undyed white non-superwash merino from Millpost Merino, which are an Australian brand. It is a permaculture farm who produce absolutely stunning wool. So they're from New South Wales in the Southern Tablelands, and practicing permaculture since 1979. So it's 100% superfine merino, 228 meters per 100 grams. And this is just a natural color, and it's so soft and lovely. These are going to be really warm, and yeah, they're a really nice combination. So I was saying to my mum this morning, I'm not normally one who goes for knitting a pattern in the color that the designer knit it in, but I had been to before I even bought the pattern, I went to a class with Nathan Taylor, who is the Sockmatician. He has a podcast and he is a phenomenal designer, and he taught me how to double knit a couple of weeks ago. And these were two of the skeins that I took to his class to learn double knitting. And as I was doing it, I was making, just a little swatch. And I really, really love the colors. And I was like, oh, I really want to make a pair of mittens out of that. And then I found this pattern, and it just happened to be same colors. So anyway, at least I know they'll be beautiful. Ellie's already tested out the colors for me. Yeah. So those are the projects that I'm working on. I have some socks and things as well, but maybe I'll show them to you in the, not so distant future for you. It'll probably cut and then be straight here. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. And that's what I've got going on. So like I said, we are in Daylesford today, and tomorrow we are going a little bit further south to a farm called Tandy, which is where there's a Wool Gathering Australia, I think it is. They hold their annual retreat there, or they have for the last couple of years. And so we're just gonna go stay in their cottage on their property. I'm going to take a spinning lesson tomorrow. I have a drop spindle at home, and I've kind of taught myself, but I've never used a spinning wheel, and so I'm going to take a lesson on a spinning wheel, and it's kind of fun. Mostly I'm just looking forward to sitting in the sun, kind of doing what I'm doing now, and knitting. I think it's going to be a really relaxing holiday. So I'll see you in a couple of seconds, but probably tomorrow or the next day for me. Good morning. It is a couple of days. It's probably just a couple of seconds for you guys, but it's been a couple of days for me, and a lot has happened. I'm in a different location. I'm on a property called Tandy, still in Victoria in Australia. It is about 6:30, 6:45 in the morning, and everything's just starting to come awake. I've got some sheep over here. There are so many birds. It's springtime and the gardens here are just beautiful, and there are all kinds of gorgeous native birds that just play all day in the flowers and sing. I saw some really cute little finches. They're about this big in the wisteria out the front about 2 days ago, and I couldn't work out what they were doing, and then I watched for a little while, and the little boy finches were, sorry, gentle finches, were doing very sweet little dance routines, and I feel like I'm belittling them. I'm sure they're considered very sexy to the female finches, but he was just so cute and so small. So if you can hear a lot of birdsong and wildlife, that is what is going on. I hope that you can still hear me. But I've been knitting and I learnt how to spin this week. So I've got 3 more things to show you. Actually, two of them you've already seen. So I'll start with my shawl here. Now I finished this. This is the Hollows shawl by Melody Hoffman, and I finished this just before we left on our trip. It's beautiful, it's really big, but the reason I saved it to show it to you here is that the yarn I used is actually from this property. So it is a 4-ply, 100% Polworth, non-superwash, non-dyed yarn that I purchased a couple of months ago at the Canberra yarn fair, Canberra Wool Expo, which I don't know if you remember, but I drove there on a whim. I found out about it at midnight the night before, woke up the next morning and jumped in my car and drove 3.5 hours by myself, went to the Wool Expo, then kind of went, I'm in Canberra and I have to go to work tomorrow. So I got back in my car and I drove home. The things we do are the things we love, huh? But excuse me if I'm squinting a little, the sun is coming up, but it's just too pretty not to sit outside. So this is my Tandy yarn. It's done in fingering weight and it's gorgeous. I love all these little eyelets. I've actually worn this a lot, but I thought it was appropriate to show it to you while I was actually on the property where the sheep were raised. And it's really, I don't know if you saw that when I came in, but it has really lovely subtle details. So this is my Hollows shawl, and I've met quite a few sheep since I've been here. They're very friendly. And I wonder if I've met any of the sheep that produced the wool that went into making this shawl. I'm not sure. The other thing, I'll stick with knitting for a minute and then I'll talk to you about my spinning lesson. The other thing that I've been knitting on, when you last saw it, I just had a tiny bit of the back, but this is my Chuck pullover, which is a pattern by Andy Satterland. And I'm finished the body, so it has a back and a front. I'm knitting it out of stone wool, which is a worsted weight Cormo, in this gorgeous grey, which I think is called Shale, and it's color number 1. I really love it. I've knit this jumper before, and I'm sure I told you this like 4 seconds ago, but it went through the washing machine, so I'm knitting it again. I'm knitting the same size. I went down a needle size because I found my tension had loosened up since the last time I knit it. And while I'm really happy with the gauge I've got, and it is the gauge of the pattern, I'm not sure if I just picked the wrong size. I made the medium size, but it's huge on me. I tried it on last night and it gapes at the sides, and it's meant to be quite a fitted jumper. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I am tempted to pull it out and start it again, or possibly stick down the side and just take it in as if I was sewing. I don't know, I finished it last night. I'll discuss with my mum. She knows more about sewing and things like that than I do, and see what she thinks. But it's not, it's okay, but it's not the fit that I would like. I probably should have gone down at least a size to get as much negative ease as I wanted, but this definitely has positive ease in it. So I'll see. I don't particularly want to pull it out because I sat in front of the fire last night, and I don't know if you can see, but I did a tubular bind off. I probably should have tried it on before I put the effort in to that endeavor, but yeah, so this is my chuck. So watch this space. I may just finish it and then make yet another one that might be a little snugger in fit, but so we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that one. But the other thing that I did this week in Tandy is I learnt how to spin. I've been wanting to learn how to spin for ages, but I didn't know of anybody who could teach me or who had a wheel, or I have a drop spindle at home and I kind of play around with that, but I really wanted to learn how to spin using a spinning wheel. So I did, and I have some yarn that I spun. Now it's kind of a progression of my lesson that you can see. This is not including, I'm not sure, oh, the blue and that, anyway. So this lovely, fluffy, messy, tiny skein of yarn is the very first thick and thin, fluffy stuff that I spun, and I chain plied it together. So it is, some of it's barely spun, some of it's overspun. It's not the prettiest in the world. Then we have this, which is slightly more even, and yet not really. So this was when I was like, okay, I'm putting too much spin in, let's take some of it out, and then it's just super fluffy. And then this, it was starting to even out. Sorry, so this one is just a 2-ply. And this one, again, is a chain ply, so a 3-ply. And it's getting a little evener, a little more even, a little less over twisted. But my favorite is this baby. So it's not perfect, but I really like it, and it's actually something that I can see myself knitting with. So all of this yarn is from this property. It's all undyed, 100% Polworth, which is beautiful wool. And like I said, it is by no means perfect or even, but I love it. This was you know, my first attempt. This is a couple of hours in to spinning, so I'm super proud of it. It's usable, so, which is more than I was expecting. So yeah, I think I'm gonna need a spinning wheel, which, let's add it to the list of crafty things that you need, right? Anyway, I'm very, very proud of this little baby. Yeah. So that is kind of what I've been working on for the last couple of days. So the beautiful, beautiful lady who taught me how to spin is named Wendy. She is so knowledgeable and so kind and generous with her time and her experience. She and her husband are part of the family that own this property and have done since the 1800s. They, this is a breed-specific farm. They raise Polworth sheep, and the family actually developed the Polworth breed. So, I mean, there's just so much history here, and she was so happy to share the story with me, as well as her 40 years of experience spinning, which was invaluable. I mean, she not only gave me a lesson and, you know, the tools to kind of understand the mechanics of spinning, she also let me borrow her wheel and practice for the evening, and then come back the next day and give me another little, like, and then taught me how to ply and, you know, about finishing your yarn. She and her husband Dave are super interesting to talk to, really, really lovely people. Lots of awesome stories about, you know, traveling the world and also living here, and yeah, just really, really kind people. This place has a lovely, calm feeling to it. If you are in the area, I highly recommend staying here. And if you're lucky enough to get to chat to Wendy and Dave or learn something from them, definitely take that opportunity. They're beautiful people. So I think that is the reason that I was able to produce something that I was so proud of at a first attempt. I had a very kind, patient teacher who was happy to chat and give me instruction when I needed it, and also step back and let me just, you know, go through the motions. Practice, practice, make some mistakes, you know. Hopefully not swear under my breath too much. Actually, I didn't. I even when things went wrong, it was still a peaceful thing to learn. So, goodness gracious, will I ever take up a hobby that doesn't require lots of fun stuff? I mean, I love collecting all the tools that go along with my hobbies, but goodness gracious, I have to find a spinning wheel. Oh well, it'll be worth it. Sorry, my alarm just went off telling me to get out of bed. So we, what was I saying? Oh, we went to the Great Ocean Road yesterday and drove a little bit of that, which is beautiful. So the Great Ocean Road runs from Geelong in Victoria across to South Australia. It's somewhere in South Australia, and it runs along the southern most coast of the country, and it's beautiful. A lot of it is cut into cliffs. Some places you have to go a little bit inland because there's no access, but you can park and walk to most of the coast, I guess. It's very, very beautiful. So we drove a little bit of that yesterday, had a nice lunch, and today we're leaving Tandy today and headed to Melbourne, and then from there we're going to the Mornington Peninsula before we make our way back up the East Coast to New South Wales, which is where we live. So we still have a fair bit of the holiday. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the birds. They're really cute. And they're, yeah, they're having a good morning. I mean, who wouldn't be having a good morning? It's quite beautiful. So that is basically everything. I'm home and I'm not sure how this is gonna go. There's children playing next door and there's birds. I mean, it's Saturday morning. I'm sure people are gonna start mowing their lawns. But I'm home. It's been a bit of a week. It's always so busy when you get back from holiday, trying to get back on top of things. So I figured I'd give you a little update. I did record a third section of this podcast while I was still on holiday, and when I looked back at it, I couldn't use it. I couldn't really see what was going on because I had the sun. Anyway, it's all blown out. It's really, really crap. So I'm gonna re-talk about what I spoke about then, and sorry you'll miss the third trip installment, but it was fun, trust me. I had a really, really great holiday, but it's always nice to be home. So I've got my tea and I'm on my balcony and I got a big pile of stuff to show you today, so maybe we'll get started. Some of it's new since I spoke to you 25 seconds ago, but some of it is just continuation on from what you have already seen earlier in this episode. So just start with whatever's closest. This jumper is awesome. I'm loving it. It's knit inside out. Can you see all the tiny little, they almost look like holes? Do you know what that means? Bubbles. Oh my word. Isn't this amazing? So when I was in Melbourne, I stopped at a lovely yarn store down there that I like to visit whenever I'm in the area. It's called Yarn & Co. And I picked up, I was hating all my knitting. I was just in a mood. I think I'd been in the car for a bit too long and I'd messed up a row on my colorwork mittens. I was annoyed that my chuck pullover was a bit bigger than I wanted it to be, and I didn't want to work on anything I was working on. So I went to the yarn store. I bought the new issue of Laine magazine. I know I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. I bought myself some Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in their new color called Iceberg. It's beautiful. It's so pretty. So I bought myself some wool, a book with a pattern, and I cast it on. I love it. So this is called, why don't I have the book? I thought I brought everything out with me. Hold please. It was in my laundry basket. I know, that makes complete sense, right? It's where I always keep my knitting books. So this is issue 6 of Laine, and I have cast on Arbusto. I'm going with Arbusto by Rosa Poma, and it's gorgeous. So it's meant to be knit with quite a bit of positive ease. I didn't want it to be super oversized, so I went down a size. And I'm really happy with how it's fitting. However, I like a longer jumper, so I am doing more repeats of the bubble pattern in the body to lengthen it. I think I'm going to add about 4 inches possibly to the body. Where it's currently going to cut me is just not a good shape for me. So I have ordered more wool because I bought as much as pattern told me for the size I was going to knit, and that would have been perfect, but with the amount that I'm adding to the body, I'm going to need more wool. But apart from adding more repeats, so far I haven't changed anything in the pattern. I did have to go down a needle size or 2 to get gauge, so I've ended up on a US 2.5, which is a 3mm needle. But I really like it. I love the little bubbles, they're so cute. And the lovely twisted rib detail is really nice as well because it's knit inside out. I don't know, I'm sure plenty of you watch the Stranded podcast with Amy. She was knitting, I think it was a Mon Manet, and it's meant to be knit inside out with a twisted rib neckband, and she just did a regular twisted rib. But when you're knitting something inside out, you need the purl stitches to be twisted because those are the ones that will show as knit stitches on the reverse side. So you have to purl through the back loop, which I'm glad I read the pattern, because purling through the back loop is not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely not the best. So I'm glad I read the pattern, and my twisted rib is actually twisted on the side that you're going to be seeing, because unlike Amy's lovely Mon Manet sweater, which she just turned inside out and now it's just stockinette, if I turn this inside out I'd lose all my beautiful bubbles, and I've worked so hard on them. So this is my Arbusto in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the iceberg color, and I love it, and it fits, which is so exciting. Not that most of the things I make don't fit, but it's always annoying when you're knitting a jumper that is not fitting exactly how you want it. So this ticked all the boxes. Got my knitting mojo back, it was a new cast on, it makes me happy. My project bag matches my project. Yep, I like this one. Next up, I don't think I did anything to Chuck. Let me see. Nope, I tried Chuck on, had a discussion with Mum. She reckons just leave it because it sits nicely. It's just a bit more oversized than I wanted. It's meant to have negative ease. It's got positive ease, but it's not too long. However, if once I put the sleeves on it, I still don't love the fit of it as a cropped jumper, I will have enough wool that I will pull out this waistband, bottom band, ribbing, basque as my mum calls it, which will break my heart because I bothered to do a tubular bind off, but that's okay. I'll pull it out. I'll do another cable repeat, probably just one more, and I'll make it a full length jumper because I won't mind it being a little bit baggier if it's full length. So Chuck will get sleeves soon. I just have to start them, but it's not getting frogged. I got some new pins, you see? They're from the Clever Clove. So who did I get? Oh, I got Powered by Plants, the tiny bunny. I don't know if he's gonna focus. Anyway. And I think you've seen all the rest of them. But yeah, I think he was new. Okay, next bag. We went to Beechworth on our holiday, and it's a really, really lovely town, but it's known for its honey. And so I got this. I think it's meant to be like a gift bag from their honey store, but I thought it was the perfect size to keep socks in my handbag. So I picked it up, and it was a nice little souvenir from my holiday, which makes me happy. So I finished a sock snake. I don't know if I showed you this sock snake, but I finished a sock snake. But I haven't put heels, toes, cuffs, anything like that in it. And I did pretty well. It was a 50-gram ball. I wanted to use as much as possible. This is what I have left. So it is Regia 4-ply in the color 02844. And yeah, I'll get done eventually. I actually have a pile of sock snakes that need heels, toes, and cuffs. Some of them just need heels. I still have a pair of socks that I showed you like 2 episodes ago. I don't know if you remember. I finished them and I didn't have a darning needle, so I put the very end of the heels, the afterthought heels, and the toes on bobby pins, and I just need to kitchener them. They still look exactly how they looked a couple of months ago. So one day I'm gonna sit down and I have a sock finishing party, and then you're just gonna have a whole episode where I just talk about socks. But until then, I finished those. Who's next? Oh, these are my mittens. These are my, sorry, it's open to a chart page. I hope you didn't see that. These are my Evja Mittens by Skandia Knits. And ooh, I've taken the needles off these, and as you can see, sorry if live stitches stress you out. My cable's like fallen out of half of the stitches, but that's okay. I made a mistake about 3 rows back in the color work, 2 rows back in the color work, and I haven't fixed it yet. I will, but I really like this pattern. I love the color. I've just got to the putting the thumb stitches on hold. So I'm knitting this in Millpost Merino 8-ply, non-superwash, DK weight merino. And this is Brooklyn Tweed Arbor, which is American Targhee wool and non-superwash, also DK weight. This color is called Klimt. Klimt. There's no P in Klimt. Klimt. Why do I keep putting a P in there? I didn't go to art school. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't spend 6 years studying this stuff and still can't pronounce their surnames. Klimt. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this is also in timeout, but it'll come out soon. I only have to pull back a couple of rows. But it's hard. It's so hot. It was 28 degrees here yesterday. I don't know how to translate that to Fahrenheit, but it was hot. and it's not even summer yet. It's hot here. So mittens are kind of the last thing I want to think. I mean, I'm knitting 2 worsted weight sweaters and I'm like, oh, mittens, it's too hot for them. It's too hot for everything I'm knitting, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. I cast in a new pair of socks. Isn't this bag adorable? It's got little colored pencils on it that look like twigs. So a really, really sweet viewer of the podcast got in contact with me and sent me a beautiful parcel. She had some sock wool and didn't want to knit socks anymore, and so asked if I would like it, and oh my goodness, it was a beautiful package. And so I've cast on some of the wool that she sent me, this gorgeous blue brown. It's coming up, I've just started, so it's really lovely. But she also made me this, which is the perfect size for your handbag. So this is my handbag knitting at the moment. So it's Drops Fable long print, 75% wool, 25% polyamide, and the color is 604. So just a little sock. I've kind of started doing a pattern of sorts in it, but I'm making it up and you can't see it yet. And I don't know how I feel about it. I think I just want these to be vanilla socks. There's something about commercial sock yarn. In saying that, I mean like your Regia, your, what's this one? This one's Drops Fable, your Opal, that kind of woolly, sturdy sock yarn, that I just want them to be vanilla socks because I wear them in my boots. I want them to be comfortable. They're, yeah, I don't know. I like them to be vanilla and not too patterned. So I may pull back it's only like 6 rows that I've started in this pattern, and just do it as vanilla. But I haven't decided yet. We shall see. So that's a 60 stitch sock. Yeah, cast on 60 stitches, 2mm needles. I knit all my socks magic loop. I haven't quite wrapped my head around dip ends. I learnt magic loop first, so it's kind of just, it's what's easy. 2 more. We're almost done. Tea break. Oh my gosh. So today, Saturday, it's Rhinebeck weekend for a lot of people. Not for me. I'm in Australia with yapping puppies. But I can't wait to see all the pictures and watch everybody's vlogs and podcasts from when they get back, and oh, I bet everyone's having the most amazing time. So if you're lucky enough to be there, I hope you appreciate how lucky you are, and take full advantage of this amazing crafty community and make all the friends. One day I'll make it there. One day. It's on the list. Okay, 2 more things. One you haven't seen in a while. Oh, this is also a new toy that I got. 3 new toys actually. So this is a porta bin. I have a black one, which I love. This is a new honeycomb color. And I have some new little pins. I have my, oh my goodness, he's knitting. He's knitting a sock. And these little 2 say, I think it's we rise by lifting each other. We rise by lifting others. So, super cute. In here is my Parachutey Dress by Stephen West. This is a Stephen West pattern knit out of hedgehog fibers in a variety of colors. I will link to my Ravelry project page below where you can see all the colors if you would like. The newest edition is this. This is Jelly. So it's in a little So this is jelly in their merino silk. Merino silk? This is not merino. This is mohair and silk. This is a lace weight. And yes, it is neon pink. Oh, I also have a little mini skein of a color I can't remember the name of, but also hedgehog fibers. Ooh. As soon as I pull the mohair out, it goes up my nose. Okay, so let's show you where I'm up to on this. This project is gigantic. So the majority of it is finished. It's really crumpled. It's been in my bag for a while, and one of my stitches has got caught on something. Great. That's okay. I'll figure it out. I'm trying to work out if it's inside out. I have a feeling it's inside out. Oh, that's better. Okay, so this is the front. Which I striped, and the back I faded. So big. So, since you last saw it, I connected at the shoulders. I did an applied I-cord edging to the neck and around the sleeve holes, armholes. Now I did the I-cord edging backwards technically. So the I-cord is meant to look like this, where it just kind of rolls over. I kind of like when you do an apply cord edge, can you see, you can see this line of like the bind off edge of this knitting. There's a line of it that goes through it. I'll try and find a spot where it's quite obvious. Maybe here. So can you see, you can see like the little stripy flecks going through there. So technically it's been put on backwards, but I really like that effect. I think it gives it a really nice edge. So these armholes are huge and they come down to about here. So I wanted to lift that up just a little bit, so when I'm wearing it, if I'm not wearing anything underneath it, you can't see my entire body essentially. So what I decided to do was pick up and knit a little bit of pink in the mohair. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'll give it a shot. If I don't like it, I'll pull it out. But it just covers it up. It's just a little modesty patch, I'm calling it. Once I've done that on both sides, I'm also considering picking up stitches underneath at about where that last stripe of this potluck color is. Sorry, where the last stripe of the gold and blue and pink flecked color is. And knitting kind of an under layer, so it will fall in, sorry, I'm describing this really badly. So picking up stitches just underneath this stripe on the back and knitting a flat stockinette panel essentially of the jelly. So it'll kind of be a really light billowy layer underneath the dress. So it'll almost look like there's two layers of fabric, but this will just start about an inch before the bottom. I don't know. I'll see. But I just think that would add a nice accent and just bring the pink back down. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever made. I'm not sure when or where I'm gonna wear it, but it's gorgeous. So it's a Parachutey Dress by Stephen West. It's actually a Parachutey tee. I did the variation to turn it into a dress by making it longer, and I knit the, I think I knit the extra large, no, large size? extra large. I think I need the extra large size. I'll just mess with it until I love it. And I'm okay with that. This is a really long-term project, but I cast it on at the start of this year and I've been working on it on and off. It's got a lot of hours in it and I'm not going to call it finished until I'm really happy with it. So last, I think I'm at the end. So these are my Halloween socks. This is Ghoulish by the Cozy Knitter. I don't think I brought the mini skein, but there is a mini skein that goes with it in this purple color. And these are my Halloween socks. I cast them on 2 nights ago. On my way to Sydney, I went to the Cher concert, which was phenomenal. Like, holy moly. I'm in awe. Like, I'm a huge fan, but she was mind-blowing. I want to be like that when I'm 72. Yeah. And so I cast them on the way up, and I got to where the stitch marker was, and then last night I sat in bed. I actually fell asleep knitting this, listening to my audiobook. I was exhausted, and I knit the rest of that. So these are awesome. I want them done by Halloween, but that's only like 10 days away, so we'll see. But I love them. These ones I only cast on 58 stitches, still on a 2mm needle. The reason I did that was I wanted them to be quite a snug fitting sock, and this base, which I can't remember and I don't have the ball band, sorry, is quite a plump fingering weight, and I didn't want them to sag or be too big. So that's everything. It's everything I've been working on. Sorry, I got a puppy on the floor. And he's decided he wants to chew on something really loudly, so I don't know if you can hear him. I'm sure you can hear my neighbors. I'm sorry if this has been super loud and distracting. I will re-record it if it's been really awful, but it's the best I can do. Everybody's out today, and my dad worked really late last night, so I don't want to go in the house and make a whole lot of noise and wake him up, because he had some pretty big surgeries that he did last night, and he didn't get home until well after I went to bed. So fingers crossed this all turns out, and fingers crossed you have enjoyed this slightly odd format. So hopefully that you can hear me. They're not going to be quiet anytime soon, so I'm going to wrap this up. I hope that you're having a lovely weekend, and if you're at Rhinebeck, I bet it's amazing. But let me know in the comments below if you like this format where you get to see kind of a little bit of progression on the projects within the one episode, because I know that I rarely put out regular videos. So let me know what you think about that. Feel free to like the video or subscribe if you would like to be notified whenever I put a new video out, which if you like the videos, it's probably a good idea. Like I say, they're not very regular, so there's a little bell button down below and you can hit that and you'll actually get a notification when I put something new on my channel. Bumblebees, children, birds, cars, dogs. It's Saturday. Headed for 10 a.m. I'm just gonna I'm gonna cut it and see you next time. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend with me. I really appreciate it, and have a great weekend. Bye. traveling with my parents. We've just got in the car after an hour of, are you ready? Oh, I was waiting for you. No, you were waiting for me. We just got in the car and look at what I'm looking at. This one forgot his map. This one forgot her phone. Yep, we're going real fast.